Hi everyone! We're going to talk about Carlos V. Francisco, also known as Botong. On November 4, 1914, Maria Villaluz gave birth to a child to Felipe Francisco and called him Carlos, but he is well known as Botong among his friends and townmates. Furthermore, as a youth, Botong is fond of playing basketball than practicing his skills in painting. At the age of 5, Botong lost his father. His father was an ex-seminarian and a degree holder of the humanities who worked in a manufacturing of a local wine. His mother attended him for education. Among the few, he spent his college years at the University of the Philippines School of Fine Arts, and during those days, specifically in 1959, he was the recipient of a Most Outstanding Alumnus Award that gave an honor to his alma mater.
On the contrary, he did not finish his degree and was forced to work. Later on, before war, he became a professor at the University of Southern West School of Architecture and Fine Arts. In addition, Carlos was not just a mural painter, but he's also a scriptwriter of Genghis Khan, Putol na Kampilan, and Tatlong Labuyo, and designed costumes for different films such as Romeo at Julieta, Príncipe Donoso, Ibong Adana, Siete Infantes de Lara, and Juan Tamad series.
He is often compared to Diego Rivera, the Mexican painter. He too admired it for good reason. Botong created mass murals as well as created an archetypal Filipino character mythic as Malakas and as heroic as Bonifacio and Rizal and modeled in their images. He was rewarded as the National Artist for Painting, considered as the greatest muralist of the country, and 1964 Republic of the Philippines Cultural Heritage Award.
He is also part of the modern art movement with Victoria Ciudadanas and Galo Ocampo, that was known in local art circles as that name group. In 1938, it was changed to the 13 Moderns, a group of modern artists. According to restorer Helmut Joseph Soder, Francisco's art is a prime example of linear painting where lines and contours appear like cutouts.
Moreover, some of his works includes the mural made to hang at the Fiesta Pavilion of the Manila Hotel, murals of the residences of prominent Filipinos, the Bayanihan scene for the Philippine Bank of Commerce, the 4-panel history of medicine for the Philippine General Hospital, the Stations of the Cross at the Far Eastern University Chapel, and the life of Saint Dominic for the Santo Domingo Church.
Lastly, his major masterpiece was a mural that he did for the Buwagang Katipunan of Manila City Hall. Botong is also known for discovering the Angono petroglyphs, which are considered the oldest prehistoric artwork. This paleolithic art consists of 127 human and animal figures that are estimated to date back to 3000 BC.
Botong died at the age of 57 on March 31, 1969 because of hemorrhage from a lung lesion. Thus, on June 12, 1973, he was considered as the national artist, and after he died, Botong Francisco School of Painting was established that exemplifies lyricism and heroism.
The painting Camote Diggers by Carlos Botong Francisco, it's 86 by 130 centimeters, all on canvas, and is now part of the Leandro Loction collection. Carlos Botong Francisco's works have always crossed over 7 digits, with each highlighting scenes of what seems to be usual yet dull at times. Camote Diggers plainly shows an old woman and a young boy doing the underrated work of soil tilling, but this time made expensive with a painter's signature touch. The oil on canvas painting is worth 22,192 pesos.
This painting is entitled Sinigang, a cross between genre and still life. The painting is animated by circular motion, nearly engulfed by a swirling force that organizes the scene. A ritual inheres in the preparation of the sinigang. A man lets the catch out of the basket, another cuts the bamboo, and the woman slits the fish. It is the woman who captivates with her body fully fleshed out, laid bare seductively and glistening too. We can notice how the straps of the blouse slip off of her shoulders to reveal the bosom.
Painting by Carlos Francisco Botong is entitled Harana. It's a 65.5 by 132 centimeter oil on canvas painting. It shows a musician in the process of wooing a Filipino woman. The tradition of Harana was widely used during the Spanish colonial period. Nowadays, the practice has died down a bit, but this tradition, as well as other province-specific courtship or marriage rites, still works.
This painting is entitled Kalansiaw at Lubluban, painted in 1945 by Carlos Botong Francisco. Botong Francisco helped the country create its own identity after the colonial eras that have hidden the true native and exotic Filipino culture from its own people. The mural Kalansiaw at Lubluban is one of his greatest works that marks Filipino in every detail. The painting is worth 30,368,000.
The next painting is entitled Kaingin. It's a 91 by 137 cm oil on canvas painting, which was painted in 1945 and is part of the Dr. Salita Camara Besa collection. His painting Kaingin, a modernist composition with strong design and rhythm, won him the first prize in the historic first National Art Exhibition of the Art Association of the Philippines, held at the National Museum in 1948. The men on the right poke holes in the dirt while the women on the left lay seeds, their bent backs forming near right angles with the men's bamboo poles. This composition was repeated in several successful pieces.
Next painting is entitled First Mass in Philippines. The mural depicts Father Pedro Valderrama officiating the Mass in an improvised altar in the presence of Ferdinand Magellan Pigafetta, chronicler of Magellan, the Spanish soldiers, and the natives in awe. Another fine example of a historical painting is the First Mass at Limasawa by Botong Francisco. The artwork, which was commissioned by the national government, was created to commemorate the 400 years of Philippine Christianization, which was held in Cebu in 1965.
The next painting is entitled The 500 Years of Philippine History. Francisco was commissioned by the government to produce an 88-meter long and 8-meter wide mural with the theme 500 Years of Philippine History to serve as an attraction at the 1953 International Fair held in the Philippines. The enormous mural was finished with the help of potages and paete wood carvers and would capture the admiration of the world. To a point of national pride, which was featured in the likes of Newsweek and Time magazine, the mural was apparently improperly and carelessly dismantled, the pieces taken by whoever had the interest or the gall. Its scope covered the legendary origin of the Filipino with the first man and woman, malakas and maganda, springing from the primal bamboo, up to the administration of then incumbent President Elpidio Quirino. The mural was finally executed in wood by the paete woodcarvers.
The mural titled Bayanihan is one of Botong Francisco's masterpieces and shows the Filipinos' Bayanihan tradition, which refers to a spirit of communal unity, effort, or deed to achieve a particular goal. Bayanihan shows Francisco's distinctive style with its bold composition and the daring juxtaposition of the elements that showcase his mastery of anatomy and lush tropical color. The mural was commissioned in 1962 by Jose Campos, founder of the pharmaceutical and healthcare company United Laboratories or Unilab.
Botong Francisco was also known to paint his experiences, and one of it is his memories while celebrating the fiesta in Angono, Rizal. The painting displays what's usually happening in these events, such as the townspeople busy cooking, washing the dishes, and eating right at the crowded town plaza. There's so much to see in this piece as Francisco made sure to highlight even the smallest details. The painting Pista sa Angono was sold for 30,370,000 pesos.
Next painting is the nose flute. The nose flute refers to the native musical instrument, also known as kalaleng, which is made of bamboo and is an instrument of courtship. A much earlier painting, dated as early as 1937, was titled Courtship Ritual and featured a nose flute player with two bare-breasted maidens. It is now in the Yuchenco Museum collection. Commissioned by Adman Aurelio Gomez Palileo, was created from two canvases joined together as anyone can notice from the piece's visible line. The piece, painted by the father of modern Filipino art, was sold to an Indonesian private collector for 32,104,977. One of the controversial paintings of Carlos Botong Francisco is the Muslim betrothal. Paintings referencing Muslims are rare because they frown upon figurative art. This made national artist Carlos Botong Francisco's Muslim betrothal controversial. The painting depicts a Muslim wedding with the bride receiving blessings from an imam or religious leader. What some found offensive was the inclusion in the painting of half-naked women dancing, along with a pig, both of which are strictly haram or forbidden for Muslims.